Will the collapse of Credit Suisse Bank be Europe's Lehman Brothers moment? The latest on Credit Suisse is that their shares have hit a record low. CDC spiked to record high. The parallels between 2008 and 2022 just keep getting stronger. 14 years ago, the collapse of Lehman Brothers sent a massive wave of panic through global financial markets and is widely considered to be the key event that plunged us into a horrifying financial crisis that we still talk about to this day. While now an even larger bank appears to be on the brink of collapse, and analysts all over the world are deeply concerned about what that will mean for the global financial system if it does fail. Right now, Credit Suisse is one of the most important banks in the entire world. If you are not familiar with Credit Suisse, the following is some good background information that comes from Wikipedia. Credit Suisse Group AG is a global investment bank and financial service firm founded and based in Switzerland, headquartered in Zurich. It maintains offices in all major financial centers around the world and is one of the 9 global bulge bracket banks providing services in investment banking, private banking, asset management, and shared services. It's known for strict bank client confidentiality and banking secrecy. The Financial Stability Board considers it to be a global, systematically important bank. Credit Suisse is also primary lender and forex counterparty of the Fed. Credit Suisse is truly one of the central hubs of the entire international banking system. If it were to fail, the ripple effects would be felt very deeply in literally every nation on the planet. I'm still shocked because of the fact that it deals with the Federal Reserve of the United States. So if it were to fail, the ripple effects would be felt very deeply in literally every nation on the planet. Unfortunately, it is being reported that Credit Suisse could be, quote, on the verge of collapse, end quote, and we are being warned that if it does collapse, it could cause a shock similar to that caused by the bankruptcy of the U.S. bank Lehman Brothers in September of 2008. Speculation surrounding the future of the Swiss banking giant has been going on for several months in the markets, in business and political circles, as well as on social networks. The number 2 Swiss bank and one of the largest banks in the world is in deep trouble and is currently fighting for its survival. A negative outcome is likely to cause a shock similar to that caused by the bankruptcy of the U.S. bank Lehman Brothers in September 2008. This event triggered one of the most serious financial and economic crises since the Great Depression. When Lehman Brothers collapsed in 2008, it had $639 billion in assets. In late 2022, Credit Suisse currently has $1.5 trillion of assets under management. Mukul Agrawal tweets Lehman 2008 Credit Suisse 2022. Credit Suisse has $1.5 trillion of assets under management and the share price has crashed. Default insurance CDS on Credit Suisse is approaching same level as during the collapse of Lehman Brothers, he tweets. Ted Trader tweets, Credit Suisse has $1.5 trillion of assets under management. It could be that Lehman Brothers type moment, something to keep an eye on next week and beyond. Credit Suisse has gone down 79.33%. Now, the collapse of Credit Suisse would create a wave of panic that would be unlike anything that we have seen since the last financial crisis. But now CEO Ulrich Körner insists that everything is just fine. There has been plenty of movement around Credit Suisse over the weekend. On Friday, CEO Ulrich Körner sent around a memo saying that the bank had a, quote, strong capital base and liquidity position, end quote, while senior executives spent their weekend doing their best to reassure large clients, counterparties, and investors, according to the Financial Times. The memo from the CEO also noted that the bank was at a critical moment as it prepared for a restructuring, the details of which are to be revealed October 27. Expectations are that some 5,000 jobs could be cut, with assets sold off. Some analysts are saying it will not be enough, however, and according to a Bloomberg report, Credit Suisse is estimated to need a further $4 billion Swiss francs, even after asset sales, to fund the restructuring, with a capital raise touted as the most likely option. Are the markets buying what Kerner is selling? No, they are not. Credit Suisse credit default swaps just keep going the wrong direction, and that means that investors are starting to get really, really nervous. Credit Suisse credit default swaps, or CDS, a derivative instrument that allows an investor to swap their credit risk with another investor, surged on Friday, reflecting the market perception of increasing risk. It's now approaching the highs seen during the 2008 financial crisis, which saw U.S. investment bank Lehman Brothers go bankrupt. Foss Lehman CDS, he tweets, Houston, we have a problem. Market cap of $CS is now a rounding error, 35 times leverage. CDS on Credit Suisse now at GFC highs. Now at this point, just about everyone can smell blood, and it certainly is not going to take much to set off widespread hysteria. This is such an ominous time for Europe. The EU is heading into the worst energy crisis that it has ever experienced. The bond market is starting to go bonkers, and now giant financial institutions such as Credit Suisse are being greatly shaken. Martin Armstrong was recently interviewed by Greg Hunter, and he boldly declared that a crisis in banking will start in Europe. He said, so could Europe suck the rest of the world down the tubes? Armstrong says, oh, absolutely, Europe is a problem. The crisis in banking will start in Europe. The debt is collapsing. They have no way to sustain themselves. The debt market over there is undermining the stability of all the banks. You have to understand that the reserves are tied to banking government debt, and this is the perfect storm. Yes, the U.S. stock market will go down short term. We are not facing a 1929 event or a 90% fall here. Europeans probably by January of 2023, as this crisis in Ukraine escalates, anybody with half a brain is going to take whatever money they have and get it over here, meaning into the United States. I am not as optimistic about U.S. financial markets as Armstrong seems to be. Yes, Europe is currently in worse shape, but things are starting to unravel quite rapidly here too, meaning the United States. In fact, we just witnessed the worst month for U.S. stocks since the very early days of the pandemic. September was a horrible month for stocks. The Dow fell nearly 9%, its worst monthly drop since March of 2020, when pandemic lockdown started in the United States. The index ended Friday deeply in the red as well. Overall, this is the very first time that the Dow Jones Industrial Average has been down for 3 quarters in a row since 2015. And it is the very first time that the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have been down for 3 quarters in a row since 2009. A lot of people out there still seem to think that things will return to normal very soon, and unfortunately all of those people are very wrong. The truth is that we are right on the precipice of a sort of historic meltdown that I've been relentlessly warning as was coming. Our leaders kicked the can down the road for a long time, but now they're running out of road. The day of reckoning has arrived for Europe, soon a day of reckoning will arrive for the United States as well. So buckle your seatbelts because we're in for a very bumpy ride. And this is by Michael Schneider. He says, my name is Michael. My brand new book titled 7-Year Apocalypse is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I have written 5 other books that are available on Amazon, including Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, Get Prepared Now, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help, is by sending digital copies as gifts through Amazon to family and friends. Time is short and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have published thousands of articles on the economic collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the most important news. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their websites, but I also ask that they include about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making a legal business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is a great help. These are such troubled times, and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. Quote, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life." If you have not already done so, I strongly urge that you ask Jesus to be your Lord and Savior today. This is on the Economic Collapse blog by Michael Schneider. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.